Of all the thousands of hotels in Europe, one stands head and shoulders above the rest. It isn't luxurious, it doesn't have a pool, but it's the ultimate retreat. The Cabana Margarita, the Margarita Hut in English, sits on a mountaintop surrounded by glaciers at an altitude of 4,554 metres, almost 3 vertical miles above sea level. Apart from a tiny emergency shelter on Russia's Mount Elbrus, it is Europe's highest building, and no other hotel comes close. It's the end of a sweltering week in Europe, but we're going up somewhere where it's always snowy. We're going up to Europe's highest hotel. The Margarita Hut sleeps 70 and is open to all, but getting there isn't exactly straightforward. You start in one of 2 Italian villages, Alagna or Gressanè, then ride their cable cars as high as they will go to 3,275 metres. From there, it's an hour's walk to a climber's refuge where you spend the night, and at dawn the next day, you don crampons and a rope for a 5-hour glacier hike to the hotel. We've made it up to the Cabana Nifetti, our pit stop for the night before we go up early tomorrow morning up to the Margarita Hut. They were both built in the middle of the 19th century when alpinism was just starting to take off across this area as an upper class pursuit.
We're going on a glacier all the way, so we've got the problem of dealing with crevasses. It will be demanding mainly because of the altitude.
So it's 5:45 and we're just about to set off up towards the Margarita Hut. We've got about 900 metres of vertical ascent to go, so better get on with it. No one would build a hotel so high today. The Margarita Hut is a relic of an earlier golden age of mountaineering. In the late 19th century, the little Italian villages at the foot of Monte Rosa were booming as climbing became an increasingly popular pastime. Even the King and Queen, Umberto and Margherita, were regular guests. The Italian Alpine Club ordered the construction of the hut in 1889. It was opened by Queen Margherita and named in her honour, as later was a certain type of pizza. The World Wars saw an end to all that. Tourism collapsed and the villages retreated to obscurity, but up on the frozen summit, the hotel endured. We've been going for a couple of hours. We're just at the Col de Lis, which is where we cross over into Switzerland to cross the final glacier up to the Margarita Hut. The big unseen danger is the altitude. Up here there is 40% less oxygen than at sea level, which makes altitude sickness a real possibility. Guests at the hotel sometimes have to be rescued by helicopter and taken back down the valley. Most mountain huts in the Alps are halfway up the mountain to be pit stops for climbers on their way up to the summit. The crazy thing about this place is they've built the refuge right on the summit itself. We made it. Fantastic. So it's 10:45. We made it up to the Margarita Hut. It's a long way to come for lunch. But just look at that view. We're at 4,554 metres. There's only 2 peaks in all of the Alps and the Pyrenees that are higher than us, and yet
This isn't some gnarly climber's bivouac. There's a full restaurant, a bar, they've even got Wi-Fi.
Claudio Bonetta is one of the team of 5 who run the hotel, typically working for a fortnight before descending for a break at lower altitude. I asked him what it was like to work up among the clouds.
Maybe the first days when you just arrive, you can feel the altitude. It's a little bit sick, but then no problem. It's a good time. Hard work, but it's a good time.
When you finish your season here, where do you go?
I'm going to holidays.
On the beach?
Yeah, on the beach. With girlfriend, yes.
The most popular dish here is pizza margherita. What else? There's also a small bar with a real espresso machine, a tiny library and a big sun terrace. But the hut has always also been used as a base for high-altitude scientific research.
I've been to thousands of hotels, but this has to be the most spectacular. Now though, it's time to start the long walk down.